Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, August 31st. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. A couple of quick clarification points before I get started. First off, this price you see over here will be moving around and changing as I go along with the candlestick right there. That is because the market is still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, AVCT. Talked about this one in yesterday's video while this big breakout was occurring. And you can see that actually that breakout, as I was recording, came up here and ultimately got rejected by that 47-cent mark, pulled back quite a bit. So this is where things get a little tricky from a presentation standpoint, because there's a couple different perspectives that go into this. So if you are some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you were buying up there, or you were buying there, or buying there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then from that perspective, the chart is looking pretty rough. However, if you care about the big picture point of view, I understand that from these highs, there has been a relatively big pullback, but when you factor in the lows, so you look at where the low was here, then you look at that low, then you look at that low, and if you envision those as stair steps, well, what do you have? Well, you have these lows, these stair steps, progressing in the upwards direction. So from a big picture point of view, even with the bigger pullback today, the overall trend is still up. So again, is this a good or bad looking chart? That is all about your personal, strategy and your perspective going into it. So keep that in mind moving forward, that yeah, long-term wise, bigger picture wise, there are those upsloping, stair steps. But if you did buy and you're looking to play some sort of scalp, then yeah, things are looking pretty rough for you. As far as ideal levels of support, Clay, what would make this chart look the best moving forward? Certainly if the price can stay above that 30-cent mark. But from the overarching standpoint, what you really want is just that price stay above the purple line there, 50-period moving average. And as the name implies, that line is going to move higher and higher. So as long as that the price stays above that line as it moves higher, then that implies that the overall trend itself is moving higher and in an uptrend. Next one, SQQQ, which is an ETF, which allows you to make money if you think that the NASDAQ is going to go down in price. So NASDAQ had a rough day today, hence why this one put in new highs once again. And NASDAQ has had a rough past few days, which is why this thing has really just exploded over the past few days. So again, just to reiterate, it's a relatively cheap way for you to get involved if you do think that NASDAQ as a whole is going to continue to fall. And after today's movement, it would be rational to think that the NASDAQ is going to fall some more because you have yourself a very nice bullish pattern here, which I think a lot of people will be watching. So when a lot of people are watching the same levels, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can definitely produce some dynamic movements here. But the level here that I think a lot of people will be watching pattern-wise is you're going to have this level of resistance right up here at 45.50. You're going to have this area of support right there. So let me actually change that to green to represent more so the bullish part of the pattern. And then maybe make this all easier to see. Let's just make it one color. So again, we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the nice move there. So this, put a golf hold on there to make it more visual, a nice bull pennant pattern. So if you do like bull pennants, if you like to play these leverage ETFs that can move relatively quickly, then I definitely keep a close eye on SQQQ. Next one, BBBY. Very, very cruel move today because it started off the day acting like it wanted to be strong. It broke above the trend line. At one point, the price went all the way up to that area right there. And then after that, just pulled a just kidding and completely fell, not only back down to that pink line there, the 200-period moving average, but broke below there and has now fallen all the way down to the purple line there, the 50-period moving average, which segues into the first key talking point, that being the key and very, very important level of support. Because if the price does drop down below that 50-period moving average, which I'm not saying it will, but just for example's sake, let's say the price does drop down below that purple line. What is that doing to the price? That's essentially putting the price right back to where it started before this big breakout occurred. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that explode and then go right back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power. Once more, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that is why that 1145 area is so important. If there are any sort of attempts back to the bounce back upwards, first key level is going to be that pink line there, 200-period moving average. That's just a classic example of a support now acting as resistance, which you can see right there. It's already happened a couple of times. And then if the price really bounces up, you still have that trend line right there that the price needs to deal with. But in fact, as I talk, I'm just going to get rid of that. Let's just not have too much clutter everywhere. Let's try to keep this as clean as possible. And let's just see if the price can even get back up above that 200-period moving average, again, if there is any sort of bounce. Next one, MGAM, and a very, very nice move here. And this is why I like to do these when the market is still open, because check it out as I speak. Volume is pouring in here during the last 30 minutes. Price is pushing up towards those highs, and it's hit a high so far in the last 30 minutes. So the big dynamic here is that a breakout has already occurred. So those people that drew that trend line right there, rightfully so, and you can see that as I speak, the price has broken to the upside, which makes and brings about a very valid question. Is this the start of something bigger? Now think about what a watch list is. A watch list is to find unique, to find interesting situations, and not randomly rush out and buy anything, but to watch it and to see if the price behaves in a way that ultimately fits your strategy, fits your personal risk tolerance. So if you are someone that likes to play breakouts and then looks for a continuation, you have that right now, because as I speak, like I said, the breakout is underway, which brings up, like I said, the question, is it the start of something bigger? Now, to be fair, and look at it, going to new highs. No, maybe it's not the start of something bigger. Maybe this thing just drifts back down. But that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this thing's just going to keep ripping and roaring on Wednesday. So unique, interesting situation. Would this count of it? Absolutely. Got the breakout. All this is occurring on high volume, so it's worth certainly keeping an eye on, especially if you like to play stocks that are down below $10. Next, AMC, and a very, very disappointing day. Not necessarily because it was red, but because when you set up the context about how Monday, very, very impressive move up, not only broke the trend line, but broke the 50-period moving average. So, where did that breakout all started? Well, it all started from basically right around here of the chart. And maybe you see where I'm headed with all this. But after today's movement and the price dropping back down and closing right here, well, if you correspond that right there, then it follows the premise of, that's not exactly what I would consider a true strong move, where you have a nice breakout, and then all of a sudden the price is right back to where it started. Now, yeah, to be fair, it could have been worse. The price could have come down here and then just continue to drop even lower than what it was. So once again, to be fair, it could have been worse, but it still wasn't good by any means when you have the price literally having gone right back to where it was, which does bring about the talking point that, yes, this level right here down at let's see, what is that? $8.90. Very, very important, because if the price breaks down below there, that implies that not only has this gain right here been completely wiped away, but now that the price is even lower than where it was from, where it was previously. So $8.90, very, very important level. But yeah, as far as that breakout that occurred on Monday, seemingly was just a dead cat bounce. Real quick, I wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online trading that I'm offering in just a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you see and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used and why it's just so powerful in building consistency as traders, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more, certainly get signed up for the free live class. Next, INAB, and I really like this one because it's got such a well-defined breakout point. So I want to be very clear in me drawing that level right there. I'm not trying to imply that that's a great discovery or that I have some sort of special skill. I assure you a lot of people have drawn that trend line. And I say that because when a lot of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So there are no guarantees, but is it a plausible outcome to say that, if the price gets up to that trend line and breaks up through it, I think that break could create additional buying pressure, even if it's just from a self-fulfilling prophecy. That is certainly a plausible outcome to have. So definitely keep an eye on that level right there. As far as areas of support, you can see right here the price got down around 250 a couple times and held strong there. So really from an overall pattern standpoint, have the resistance, have the support, have the momentum move right there, have the golf hole down there, and we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play bull pennants, play stocks down below $5, here you go. Next, FRGE, and like the one we just talked about, at least from the dynamic of the self-fulfilling prophecy point, I would definitely say that a whole lot of people are going to be watching $4.50. So guarantees nothing, but if the price can recover back up there and get the break up through that level, does that symbolize a potential breakout of this consolidation, a potential reversal point? Absolutely. So 450 going to be a level that I think a lot of people will be watching. So keep a close eye on that. And then as far as levels of support are concerned, keep an eye on that pink line there, the very famous, very, very well-known 200-period moving average. Price got somewhat close to it right there. Didn't quite hit it. But if there is any sort of further pullback, then right around, let's just call it $3.80 is going to be that main level to watch. So in my mind, a couple of very well-defined levels. So circling back to the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies, I think there's a lot of that potentially at work here for Wednesday. Next, TMC. Beautiful looking chart here. Nice breakout. The trend continues and some very well-defined levels here. So the first level that, and nothing fancy or complicated behind this other than the fact of and question of, well, where did the party stop today? And that was up there at $1.12. So $1.12 for no complicated reasoning other than that's just simply where the breakout and the upwards move stopped today. You can see there was that breakout right there. Price made a big move up and got rejected back down. Now, to be fair, though, the last 30 minutes is starting to come back to life again, which makes it valid to think that, okay, maybe this resistance is within striking distance again. So we'll see how that plays out, on Wednesday. So $1.12 will be that main level to watch. But overall, just, kind of taking a bigger step back. Very, very nice upwards movement, especially when you factor in that on Monday, this thing looked like game over. Nasty, nasty downwards channel, but then it really came to life again, pulled back, recovered nicely, and is working its way upwards. So there's quite a bit of momentum apparently in this one, especially when you factor in late day today. You can see the volume really did start to return. So it'll be interesting to see if this upwards movement continues here. But you got to give credit where credit's due. After a very rough looking Monday, things turned around nicely and is now potentially looking at a $1.12 breakout. Next, Tsla Tesla, and a lot of house cleaning first. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of these lines, as they still pertain to the chart. They're just no longer relevant, so I'm going to get rid of those as I don't want to have, cause clutter and confusion because there's lines everywhere you look. But first update comes about based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they do tend to act as resistance. So if there is any sort of attempted bounce, right up there around 281.50 is going to be that main area of resistance. Because as of right now, there's a bit of a bounce from its lows up to right here. You can see there's a bit of an upwards channel. But you do have to keep in mind that because of the previous dynamic that happened before that upwards channel, what you actually have here is a bear flag pattern. Now, just because there's a bearish pattern does not mean that the price is for sure going to go down. Just like if there's a bullish pattern, doesn't mean the price is for sure going to go up. But all I'm trying to suggest is be a little skeptical. Again, you're right. There is an upwards channel here, but is there any sort of genuine strength behind it? There could be, but there could also just be, simply a dead cat bounce where this thing just rolls back over and gets continuation to the downside. So keep that in mind here moving forward, that there is that upwards channel, but there is, from a little bit of a bigger picture point of view, a bear flag right now on Tesla. Next, NERV, and big step in the right direction here. There's going to be a bit more to those of you that watched the video from Monday, but talked about that trend line right there, and you can see that about mid-afternoon, price came up here as the volume kicked back into higher gear, got the trend line break, and has then, since that point, just kind of grinded higher and higher, which now brings about, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that line as it served its purpose. But with the trend line break, it now brings about the very valid question of, okay, can the price push up through this level here at $14, which you can see was a problem area back here. And then when you fast forward to that, I realized the price didn't quite hit it there, but got within the general vicinity of 14 and once again could not quite push through it. So that does not mean that $14 can't be broken, but it does bring about and introduce that idea of the self-fulfilling prophecies where you got to think that a whole lot of people are watching 14. So again, while that does not guarantee anything, it does make it a very plausible outcome that if the price comes up there and breaks through 14, that could be a breakout that causes, even if it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, quite a bit of upwards buying pressure. So keep a very close eye on that. In my mind, that's kind of the most interesting dynamic. If you do like to play pullbacks and a couple different potential areas of support, first one right there at 1185, and the next key level to watch, as I talked about in a previous chart, I don't remember which one, but from an overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, because as that line moves higher and higher, as long as the price does stay above it, that does imply that the price itself is putting those higher bases, which is what an uptrend is all about. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free training. Like I said, it'll be later on this week, Thursday, September 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, do things for me. If you like these videos, hit the like button and leave in a comment. Tell me what you either traded today or what you're watching for tomorrow. But those two things communicate to me that you enjoy. As long as I know that you are enjoying, I'll continue to put in the required time and effort to make these videos. So again, get signed up for the class, hit that like button. Let me know in the comment section what you traded today or what you're trading or watching for tomorrow. Everybody, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good one.